Hello punters and welcome back to another racing preview ahead of Saturday's racing tomorrow. We have group racing returning. We're looking at the Aurie Star Handicap over the 1200 metres up the Flemington Straight. That's being a Group 2 race. We also have some fantastic racing at Rose Hill. We've got the Group 2 Missile Stakes with genuine Group 1 performance in Vega Days. Elite Say, of course, going around the $1.50 short price favourite, and also Lure Main in that race. So it's really looking forward to that. We've got the great crop of 2-year-olds from last season, now 3, of course, that'll be going around in the Rosebud the race after the Missile Stakes. So really looking forward to that. And there's also a couple of nice bets around at Murray Bridge tomorrow, and also at Doomben. So I'll be going through those, all those meetings for you in videos to come. But first of all, this first feature video will be, of course, on Flemington. So we're looking at a 9-race program. Current track rating, looking at a soft 6. As you would know, if you're living in Victoria at the moment, it is blowing an absolute gale out there and the rain is teeming down. So we might be getting heavier conditions by tomorrow. I'd say maybe a soft 7, potentially even a heavy 8 is a possibility. So we're looking at the form for this Flemington meeting based off soft 7, soft 8 form. Soft 7, heavy 8 form. My apologies. So really looking forward to the meeting tomorrow at all the tracks. But Flemington looks really nice, and we're getting into that first. So based off last week, okay last week. Moorfield really were quite successful. We obviously the best bet of the day in Usain Bowler at Moonee Valley saluted. We had the best bet at Eagle Farm salute in Urbach. For Chris Wallace. So we had a few nice ones get the cash for us, but we'll be looking to make a lot of improvement this week, heading into spring with a lot of the big guns coming back. So really going to build a bank. So let's just get straight into it. First race on the card is over the 2,530 metres open handicap race. Look at the speed map here. I'd say that Jinder will use that inside barrier to push forward and do a win like it did last time out at Sandown. Sasco will be quite prominent going forward. I'd say Suppressor might be able to duck in behind them, and Hush Rider usually likes to be around the speed as well. So I'd say that there are 4 horses that will be on speed. For this race here, I'm really quite keen to play at number 6, Not a Single Cent. I thought its run last time out behind Tabby Run, closing it in, was quite good. It looked like it hit line really well. It's in a bit of form at the moment. That was on a soft track, so it will get that soft conditions again. And it really does prefer Flemington. It's run at this track 6 times with 2 wins and a placing, and obviously, it's only ever won 2 and placed 2 in its career for 14 starts to date. So it really does enjoy this track, and it enjoys the distance. So I really do think this horse will be well suited here. Bit of speed, looks to be on in the race. It'll be running a genuine tempo, I would say. So I really am keen to have a play at it. So number 6, Not a Single Cent on top in the first. Number 1, Hush Rider in the second. Really keen on this horse, but hasn't got this, the sort of soft track stats as of yet. It's only had the 1 start on it and didn't place on that occasion. Finished 6th, of course, at Rose Hill in the Winter Cup. That was behind Destiny's Kiss. So I just, a bit of a query there. I just would like to see it perform on the rain effect going first before I decide to get back on top of it again. I'm a big fan of it, as I tipped it on top at $26 odds on the first up in this preparation. But I'll wait till it gets back on that firmer going. So number 1, Hush Rider in for second. In the third, number 2, Suppressor. Well, this horse, she also gets through the going. It's had 5 starts on the soft for 2 wins, 2 placings. So I'd say she'll be around the mark again. Her win last time out being Sasco was quite dominant. Pretty easy victory. This horse, of course, is going to stud soon with a date with Sue Star. So, but they've decided to take her around for one more go. So they must be pretty confident, Kieran Moore and Dave Eustace, that she'll run a good race and she can collect the cash. So I'm happy to have her in for a place again. And in for fourth, can't go past number 3, Sasco. I think these top 3 will gap the rest. But no knock on number 3, Sasco. It was pretty game in defeat last time out behind Suppressor, but can't see it turn the tables on, so happy to have it in for fourth. So just recap the numbers on the first of the card at Flemington. I like number 6, Not a Single Cent on top, with the flying Linda Meach in the saddle. In for second, number 1, Hush Rider. In for third, number 2, Suppressor. And in for fourth, number 3, Sasco. Moving on now into race number 2, and we're looking at a 1400 metre race, 3-year-old benchmark 70. Look at the speed map here. It's really nice. Again, a good group of 2-year-olds that are now have turned 3 and really going to be going around this race. So looking at the speed map, I'd say Echo, Lad and Samson will be fighting at the speed. Conqueror obviously led all the way last time out on its Pakenham synthetic win. So I'd say it'll be quite prominent again. A Noble Fight might use that inside barrier to get a prominent position, but not a whole lot of speed in this race. So as such, I do think that this horse, number 5 Conqueror, can run a good race. Obviously, that was on synthetic form last time out. We need to see it translate to the turf, but I really thought that was as dominant a win as you can get. I know it might not have beaten much, but a 7-length win, you really cannot shy away from that. This horse obviously had a fast net rock. They paid a lot of money for it, the owners, so it has a lot of ability. It was finished last preparation, finished 0.8 of a length behind Gamekeeper. It was flying at the time, and then was ran into Latan, who of course went on to win the size produce. So there's really no knock in the form, and I'm really happy to have it on top to beat number 7 Noble Fight, who I think is massive overs at the price. I thought it was pretty good charging behind Palmy last time out. It's going to get a perfect run, as I said, probably be sitting in behind the speed off the inside barrier. Can get through the conditions. We've seen it have 3 starts on soft, 2 starts on soft, 1 start on heavy. It's had 2 placings on that, so it will get through the going, no problems. So I'm happy to have it in for second at nice $19 odds. In for third, I like number 2 Mayors. You know, this horse was a real sick beat last time out behind Samson and just couldn't get out late, and it was really trying to hit the line well. And I'm confident if this horse that got out would have gone over the top of Sansom. And that day at Sandown Hillside Track, it was really hard to make ground from the back, and this horse did so. So I was really impressed with that effort. It's had a bit of a freshen up since then, had a couple of weeks off. We'll come into this, we'll get through the rain affected going to have 1 start on a soft for a win and 2 starts on heavy for 2 placings. So we know it will get through the going. I'm really happy to have it in for third. And in for fourth, number 3 Airborne. Now this horse was extremely well backed on debut, and it saluted it justly by a real dominant margin by 2.8 lengths. That was on a soft track, so again we know it will get through the conditions. I just thought 360 was a little bit skinny. I wasn't happy to play at that necessarily. I think it's a really open race. I was happy to look at a couple of horses at bigger margins. Look, I could also make a case for number 9 Antagonise. This horse was really good last time out, winning its debut at Bendigo. I think it's a real progressive horse for Mark Kavanagh, and he can improve off the back of that run. Another horse that I think, obviously Samson, if it gets left alone out front, will give a good kick. But I just couldn't put it on top this time round. It's going for that 4 in a row, which is always risky, as we all know. And I think it bumps into some nice horses here. Number 6, Echo Lad. I've always had a bit of time for it as well. But it's just coming back in distance from the 1800 to the 1400. Just not sure. I think the mile's more its distance range, so it might be found wanting late. But just to recap the numbers on race number 2. Number 5, Conqueror on top to beat number 7, Noble Fight. In for second. In for third, number 2, Maozi. And in for fourth, number 3, Airborne. Race number 3, benchmark 70 over 1200 metres. Look at the speed map here. It's obviously up the straight. We've got a lot of speed in this race. I'd say Confluence, Waltona, Heavenwood will be quite prominent. Sailor Volt and the card players will show a bit of speed. Jumbo and Zaki might be sitting just in behind them. Star Ruse will get forward, so there's a lot of speed in this. And as such, look, this horse has gained a start, so I'm very keen to play at it, and it's number 18, Ruben Blur. This horse was sensational chasing down Sylvia's mother last time out up the straight at Flemington. That, of course, was in a nice 3-year-old race there. And the form out of that has just been electric. I mean, we've had Queen Annabelle come out of that race and win. We've had Usain Bolt come out of that race and win. And they both finished behind Ruben Blur. So I'm really confident this course will run a really good race at nice odds. Lockie King's 2 kilo claim brings it down to 56 kilos, so it comes in nicely at the weights. $18 and $6 a place. Really happy to have a play at that, so I've got it on top. To beat number 12, Jumbo Zaki. Now, this horse is a massive talent. I've been a huge rap of it ever since it won so dominantly at Pakenham back in late February. And then it obviously went on, won at Bendigo nicely. Then it was beaten, a real sick beat when it was beaten by Outrage on that occasion here at Flemington. I just think this horse might be looking for a bit further, and for me, Charles 40 is a bit short to take first up. Obviously, its jump out recently at Pakenham was superb. No knock in the form, and I really do think this horse has got a lot of ability. It's going to be racing in some group company this spring. I just think that maybe it needs his first up run first. up the straight before I can lay into it at the $2.40. I was happy to play at Ruben Blair at the bigger odds. Look, number 16, Talented, got a bit of time for this 3-year-old filly as well. She's going up here into this race first up for the Snowdens. She looks really sharp. She obviously won really well, beating Sensitivity on debut. Then was only 2.3 lengths off Microphone. We know how much of a spruik that horse has got. It's got a lot of ability. And then it was beaten by 3 lengths by Ready Set Stale here up the straight of Flemington in a Group 3 race. So I really think this horse has got a bit of ability, and it's going to be really sharp for these. So I'd say that it will give a good sight out. Number 16, Talented, so I've got it in for third. And then in for fourth, look, if I overdo out front, this horse can charge home late. At number 2, I'm telling you, I know it's been a real hard horse to follow, but the straight track form's pretty good. It often finds the place. It obviously charged home late behind Serious Suspect last time out. So I'm happy to have it in again. It drops massively in class. Hasn't been down on benchmark 60 for quite a few starts now. So if anything, it'll find these easier. And Michael Poy's been riding well. He comes to the 2 kilo claim and bring the horse down to 59.5 kilos. So recapping numbers of race number 3, I really do like number 18, Ruben Blair on top. It's probably my best each way play of the day. At $18 the win and $6 the place. In the second, I like number 12, Jumbo Zaki. In the third, number 16, Talented. And in the fourth, number 2, I'm Telling Her. Also got a bit of a query on Scott Brunton's runner, Zubarina. This horse has been raced really fresh. Last time out when it was fresh, it was only 1.8 lengths off Mystic Journey. Obviously, we all know that's real good form. So I've got that, keeping that safe. Put it this way, if I play trifectas, first fours, early quaddies, definitely got to have it in the numbers. So I'm happy to play around with those sort of odds. So moving on now to race number 4, open handicap race here over the 1400 metres. Looking at the speed map here, I'd say Jungle Edge will find the front. Saiti will be quite close, as will Romancer. Kimono might just sit in behind them, tuck in for a bit of cover. So a little bit of speed in the race, but it's not an absolute stack of it by any means necessary. But look, I'm pretty keen to have a play at number 6, Vinland here for Tony McAvoy. It's coming back from a preparation up in Queensland, where it obviously was beaten 3.4 lengths by Duke Valentinois and finished last. But there's only a small margin between them, 3.4 lengths. Prior to that, did beat that horse. So I do think that based off its form, this horse can win this race. It's coming back from listed in Group 3 level, where it was beaten by Fastnet Tempest. Right back to an open handicap here. I do think this horse has got a lot of ability. Obviously, Flemington's a big plus. It's won here at the track before. Only had 2 goes at the track. And I just think if they overdo it out front, this horse might be a power over late. So I just really think that the odds are quite appealing for me. So I'm happy to have it on top. Number 6, Vinland, to beat number 1, Jungle Edge, who we know will give a great sight. Loves the soft going. Gets through it brilliantly. And if we obviously get into that heavy range, it will suit it even more. Last time out, I'm going to dropping back from Weight for Age Group 3 company, where I was beaten by Scales of Justice on that occasion. Prior to that, it was beaten by Oak Door by 0.2 of a length in a Group 3 there as well. So this is a lot easier. And I think it'll run a really good race, especially if it's left alone out front. There's not too much pressure on it. So number 1, Jungle Edge for second. In the third, I've got a bit of a query on this horse, number 7, Federal. I've always had... its first up run was really good here at the track, where it was beaten by Blazowski. Of course, that horse was flying at the time. Then it sort of ran into Romancer and Reykjavik, where it just hasn't been able to come off from the back. Look, soft track stats are no, by any stretch of the means, appealing. But I just think, again, if they do it out front, I think this horse just a bit of overs. I can see it in these small fields that the roughies often pop up and run a good race. So coming back to the smaller field, I think this horse might actually run a good race for Dwayne Dunn in the saddle. So I'm happy to have it in for third, just as a bit of a throw at the stumps. And in for fourth, number 8, Romancer. This horse has been travelling nicely recently. Was beaten by Saiti last time out, but I think it can turn the tables here with a massive weight swing. Look, no knock at number 2, Saiti. I just thought that the second up was really appealing. Its third up stats aren't as good as it is second up, but it does get through the soft going. So again, playing early quad, he's going to have it in. So recapping the numbers on the fourth race of the card, I like number 6, Vinland, at a bit of odds here. To beat number 1, Jungle Edge, who of course the class run of the race. In for third, I like number 7, Federal, at a bit of odds. And in for fourth, number 8, Romancer, is right down the weights. Race number 5 now, over 2,000 metres, benchmark 78. Look at the speed here in this race. I'd say there's a little bit of it, especially from the outside barriers. Say Akamon, Charosa, Sweet Mischief will be quite full. Rapido, Chaparro will probably find the top. I'd say Kazara might use the inside barrier to get quite forward as well. So a lot of speed in this race, and as such, I do think it'll set up really nice for number 12, De Beer. This horse was really good winning last time out at Sandown, just sat in behind the speed. I think it might be able to do so again with a lot of horses on the outside barriers obviously coming across. Might be able to find a really good spot about midfield. It beat Smoke and Piero last time out, and Smoke and Piero has since come out and won at Sandown on Sunday, that was. So this horse, the form stacks up pretty nicely. I'm happy. I think it's really progressive, and it's got a bit of ability. Comes back to the 2,000 metres here. I don't think that'll be much of a problem. I'm happy to have it on top at $6 odds to beat. Number 9, Twilight Run, of course, on the quick backup. A little bit disappointing last time out, but just never really was able to come on when Linda Mitch stole the race on that particular occasion. This horse obviously comes back to Flemington, which I think suits a lot more, but it still sticks to that 2,000 metres. I think this horse is much better around the 600, 800 metres. Just might be thinking it might be building up a bit of fitness, but I think where it will drop back to the 600 metres, 800 metres, and be able to win there. So I'm happy to have that horse in for second. In for third, I'm happy to have a play at, sorry, just give me a quick second to get it back up. I was happy to have a play at number 13, Sweet Mischief. I think this horse has had a bit of a break since its last start, where it was beaten by 0.1 of a length by Aristocratic Miss at Sandown. The form out of that race pretty good. Prior to that, it beat He Excels. Of course, that horse came out one in New South Wales on a Saturday meeting after that. So the form out of this horse is quite nice. Soft track stats are really good. It's had 5 starts on the soft for 2 wins, 2 placings. So likes rain affected going. I think $18 odds massive over the odds, especially $5 for place. I think I'll be having something each way on it. I think it can land in a good spot if they don't overdo it out front. This horse will be giving a really good sight, so I'll be having a play at that as well as number 12, De Beer, each way. This horse also, I think, is over the odds. Number 14, Credence. I thought it was a really good run last time out. It came from really a long way back at Sandown. Really charged home late. It was carrying 60 kilos on that occasion. Was beaten by Captain Harry. And prior to that was beaten by Nocio. Now, look, the rain affected going is not as good for this horse, but I just think that was a really good run. And if it gets the time to wind up over 2,000 metres at Flemington, it really might be coming along late. Obviously, barrier 18 is a little bit of a concern, but I think this horse got a bit of ability, and obviously deeper into the prep it goes. It's now third up, but I think the better it will be. So I'm happy to have it in for fourth. So recap the numbers on race number 5. I've got number 12, De Beer, on top to beat number 9, Twilight Run. In for third, number 13, Sweet Mischief. And in for fourth, number 14, Credence. Look, no knock on number 8, Out of the Throne. I think this horse ran a really good race up at Randwick last time out, closing behind Dr. Drill. Just think soft track stats a little bit concerning. 7 starts on it for just the 2 placings. So I was a little bit keen to play around it. Maybe if it was on the good conditions, I would have had it in the numbers, but I'm happy to play around it. But again, I'll probably be putting in just on a class factor in the first 4. I think I'll run a good race even still. Race number 6 now. We kick off the quaddie here with a nice 1,000 metre benchmark 90 race. Looking at the speed map here, I'd say that Bassett, Power and Prince have left JB out, would be forward. Assertive Approach, we know there's a stack of speed, as is Tony and Cody. So there'll be a bit of speed in this, but it's really expected over 1,000 metres. Look, I do think this horse, number 10, Assertive Approach, can run them off their feet. It's $2.15, but I am happy to have a play at that. I think this horse has got a lot of toe, and it'll just be way too sharp for him. It was too quick for Behemoth last time out, who's got a lot of ability, as we know, from the South Australian Carnival. Prior to that, it won really impressively at Sandown, beating Montenegro Man by 3.8 lengths. That was on a heavy conditions. Last week was on soft. So it will get through the rain affected going. And I just think that this horse will have too much pace for him up front. So I've got it on top to beat number 9, Tony Niconi. This horse comes back from Randwick, where it was actually fought on pretty good on speed. It was under a lot of pressure, and it was only run over late by Tonico, who really swooped over the top of him. But I liked how it battled on despite being under so much pressure, and of the leaders, it was one of the ones that really did stick on. So I'm happy to have it in for second, number 9, Tony Niconi. In for third, look, if they overdo it out front, I think number 4, Embrace Me, can really charge over late. It's obviously coming fresh into here. They tried it behind Sunlight. That was, of course, in the not Manikato Stakes. Sorry, that was the Group 1 William Reed. That was. Prior to that, it beat Spanish Whisper really impressively at Moonee Valley, the Group 3 race there. So this is a lot easier. I'll just have a bit of a query fresh. It tends to be better the further it goes into a prep. As I said, if it overdoes it, if they overdo it out front, the speed's on, this horse could really charge over late and be in the finish. So I've got it in for third. And in for fourth, number 2, the Inevitable. Got a bit of time this horse as well. 1,000 metres might be a bit sharp. I expect it to be coming into the race nicely. This horse had 3 starts on the soft going for 2 wins and a placing. Has excellent first up stats. Had 3 starts first up for 2 wins and a placing. So I really do think this horse will come on late. And obviously we'll look at it further, but I do think it'll come in for the placings late. So recap the numbers on race number 6. I do like number 10, Assertive Approach on top at the $2.15. In for second, number 9, Tony Nakoti at $10 and $2.70 the place. In for third, number 4, Embracer, and in for fourth, number 2, The Inevitable. Race number 7, 400 metre mares benchmark 84 here. Look, Angelic Spirit will go out and lead these, I would say. French Girl will sit just in behind. The Special Diva and Pop Queen will pop just in behind for a bit of cover, but not a whole lot of speed in this race. So as such, I do think the favourite, in my opinion, needs to get close to the run, but definitely is the class of this field. Obviously, last time out, the run was excellent, where it was just beaten late on that occasion by, hang on, just give me a second. Yeah, so it was just beaten on that occasion by Sylvia's Mother. Of course, as I mentioned earlier, form out of that race is so good. We've had Usain Bolt, Queen Annabelle come out of that race and win. And also, as I mentioned earlier in the card, of Ruben Blur can run a good race in race number 3. I believe it was. Wasn't that race number 3? Yeah, race number 3. Yeah, we'll get a real good form reference there. So I'm happy to have it played on top. It is short at $2, but I think it's worth the gamble. It really has got a class edge on these, and stepping up to 400 metres is going to suit. So I'm happy to have it on top to beat. Number 4, Hey Now, I think is a bit of over the odds. This horse, last time it ran at Flemington, was fourth up, where it finished 11th of 12th there. But prior to that, it did beat Set to Sparkle. That was a pretty good run, that. So I think this horse stepping up off the back of an 1100 metre run at Bendigo will suit nicely. It does get through the soft going. It's had 6 starts on it for 1 win and 3 placings, and also the heavy. It's had 3 starts for a win and a placing. Setting up stats are quite good. 5 starts for 2 wins and a second. So I do think this horse might be able to be in a prominent enough spot where it will hit the line quite nicely for trainer Sean Dwyer and Dwayne Dunn in the saddle. In for third, I like number 1, Shakura. This horse won brilliantly last time out in a Phillies Medge benchmark 90, beating El Questro, who was flying at the time. It obviously steps back in class here. Goes up in the weights, but Freddie Kersley, 1.5 kilo cone, brings down 57. So if this horse can get a little bit of luck in the run, I think it'll be really hard to beat as well. So maybe have it in for third. In for fourth, look, number 5, Angelic Spirit, Linda Meach, great front row rider, but this horse just doesn't know how to settle, so I couldn't put it on top, but wouldn't surprise me if it runs a good race onto the soft conditions here. And look, it just will be left alone out front. So it just depends whether it overdoes it or not. If it doesn't, it'll be in the finish. If it does, it'll be dropping back in a hurry. So I'm happy to have a play here. Number 7, my pendant on top. Just think that it'll be just sitting not far behind the speed, and we'll really get the break on them and be able to power over top late. To beat number 4, Hey Now, in for second. In for third, number 1, Shakura. And in for fourth, number 5, Angelic Spirit. Race number 8 here is the Group 3 Aurie Star Handicap up the straight over 1200 metres. Look at the speed map here. I'd say there's a little bit of it. I'd say Malibu Style will be quite prominent. You Make Me Smile will spear out and find the front. I'd say True Excelsior will get out and run as well. So a little bit of speed, but to be honest, for a straight track race, not a whole ton. And I am actually quite keen to play at number 13, You Make Me Smile. I just think this horse will be way too quick for him. Last time out was just run over late by Bonami. That was on a good track. Comes back onto the rain affected going, which it runs so much better in. It's had 3 starts on soft going for 2 wins. It's had 4 starts on heavy going for 2 wins. Second up, it's 3 from 3. So I'm just extremely happy to go with this Jason Call horse. So I was pretty keen on it first up off the back of a really good trial. And it was okay. I was beaten by Bonami on that occasion. I was on a good track. But as I mentioned, back on the soft going, I think it'll suit much more. 50 carries, only carries the 54 kilos. I think this horse will run a cracker of a race. out front, especially if it's left alone. So I've got it on top. To beat number 5, Soci Bond, I think this horse is massively over the odds. Obviously, first up stats aren't all that appealing, but the soft track stats are good. It does get through the going well. And I've just got the feeling that tongue tie coming off, that this horse can just run a good race. It just tends to do it, this horse, Soci Bond, when it's at the big odds. So I'm happy to have played it. Obviously, the form last prep, it was in a lot better races than these. Looking at Group 1s behind Brutal and Winks. Also, 1.2 off Harlem. And 0.1 of a length off 50 Stars. It was absolutely flying at times. So this horse will get better over further, but I do think this horse might be able to finish in the placing. So I'm happy to have a bit of an each way play in it as well. In for third, I do like number 3, Iconoclasm. I think this horse coming back to 1200 metres suits. Only problem is the soft track stats are not great. It prefers the firmer going, but it doesn't mind racing here at Flemington. Have 5 starts on track for 3 wins. Fresh last time out, it beat Miss Vixen, who of course was flying at the time at Caulfield over 1200 metres. So I think this horse can run a nice race with Brett Pebble in the saddle. And then in for fourth, number 7, Milwaukee. I think this horse obviously loves running it at this track up the straight. It's had 8 starts on it for 4 wins, 3 places. So I couldn't leave it out. It was pretty good by Malibu style last time out. Goes from 57 down to 54.5. So it comes in nicely at the weights. I'm happy to have another play at it. You can't leave it out. So I'm happy to put it in for fourth. Look, big query on number 4, Cesar. I was really disappointed its run last time out. Does go better on rain affected going. So if you get that heavy range, I will pop him into the top 3 numbers. But at this stage, while it's in soft going, I'm not going to have a play it. So 2 starts for no wins, no placings. It was really disappointing last time out. But I wouldn't be surprised if it turns it round, turns the tables, and it is paying $4.20 and $1.90 the place, which looks pretty appealing. But I just couldn't go with it. I just think there's not a lot of speed in this race. Going to have to produce an almighty effort to get over the top of them. But if we're in the heavy going, I will be more obliged to back it. But at this stage, I'm looking to go at a bit of odds. Number 13, You Make Me Smile on top. To beat number 5, Soci Bond. In for second, number 3, Iconoclasm. In for fourth, number 7, Milwaukee. Final race of the card, race number 9 over the 1720 metres, benchmark 84. Looking at the speed map here, I'd say Dr. Drew will try and find the front like I did last time out. Kentucky Breeze will get forward. I'd say Cool Cash Satori will be around the speed as well. So not a whole lot of speed in this race either. So we'll find it a little bit difficult. I'll be hoping for a bit of tempo for my top selections here to get into the fray. But I'm pretty keen to have a play at number 5, Master Shahud with Michael Point in the saddle. Paying $8 at the moment. Thought first up run behind Bedford was really good. Came late from the back. And that was on a soft track. Obviously, it gets the soft track here again. 4 starts on it for a win and 2 placings. Second up stats are nowhere near as good as first up. So that's my only query. It's had 3 starts second up for just the 1/3. So a little bit of a query there. But I do like that it comes on a Flemington for the first time. It will enjoy getting its chance to wind up. And it obviously enjoys the conditions. So I'm happy to have it on top. To beat the other Chris Waller import in number 13, Humboldt Current. So I'll be having a go each way of that. Similarly, second up stats aren't appealing, but neither the first up stats, and it was really good first up Humboldt Current, where it was 1.9 lengths off Ballet Master. Only has to show a bit of natural improvement off that run, which it will do, and I'd say be going close again. And it's paying $9.50 and $3.10, so happy to have each way plays at them. If a third, I like number 12, Satori. I think this horse will be left alone towards the speed. Obviously, it was just beaten by Ballet Master in that same race that I mentioned Humboldt Current was in. Second, soft track stats are great. It's had 4 starts on it for 1 win and 3 placings. Has only missed a placing two times in its 13-star career. So I'd say it'd be running a good race once again, especially left line out front. And in the fourth, number 8, Lure Me In. I think this horse stepping up in distance here will suit much more. Thought it was a really good run behind Special D last time out at Caulfield over a benchmark 78. Comes back to Flemington, which it much prefers. Gets up in distance. Doesn't mind the soft going. I just think there's a lot of ticks to be made there. So looking at some really nice each way plays here. So number 5, Master Shahud on top. To beat number 13, Humboldt Current, as I mentioned. We'll be having a play on both of them each way. In for third, number 12, Satori. And in for fourth, number 8, Lure Me In. Of course, I'm not going to leave Dr. Drew out, but just up to the 59.5 with Terra Nugent's 3 kilo claim. I know it's had 2 starts on the soft for 2 wins and obviously enjoys this distance range in the track. So, look, if I was to have a 5th number, it would be in for 5th. But I just couldn't play it in at the $3.30 up in the weights and up against maybe slightly better opposition. So, recapping the numbers, look, Best of the card, I am pretty keen to have a go at race number 7, My Pendant, and also race number 6, number 10, Assertive Approach. I know that they're $2 and $2.15 respectively, but I really do think they'll be extremely hard to beat in those races. Look, best each way plays. Race 3, number 18, Ruben Blurs, paying nice odds at $18 to win and $6 to place. Really keen to have a go at it. In for third, another one that I like at each way odds that I think is paying quite nice and we can have a go at is number 13, You Make Me Smile, at the $11 and $3.60. I think $3.60 to the place is a real steal. But also last race, as I mentioned, number 5, Master Hood, and also number 13, Humboldt Current, are good each way plays as well. So that's my preview at Flemington for tomorrow. Good luck for your playing. Obviously, Group 3 racing is back, and we've also got a great meeting coming up next with Rose Hill. I'll be doing that preview just after this video, so stay tuned for that. And happy punting if you're playing tomorrow. Good luck.